Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another instrument cluster, this time in a 2008 Land Rover LR3. The very common situation, sometimes it works good and sometimes it just goes off, and then if he hits the cluster it comes back on. Those are very common situations on this instrument cluster. If you have one, it's most likely the instrument cluster. So especially 2008, we're talking about almost 20 years old, and as you have seen in the channel, I even have a playlist of these instrument cluster, and I can tell you I have a 100% success rate. If you're here in the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Every time you subscribe, YouTube promotes more and more of my videos, and that's how you find me. It's also for free, so thank you so much if you do so. If you have any instrument clusters or computers for automotive or marine, look at the name in the YouTube channel. It's the same name of my website. Just add the .com and you will find me in there. If you go over the website, just look for in the same page. As soon as you open it up, you have my email and telephone right in the left side upper corner, kind of like in the middle bottom. You'll see the address, and next to the address on either side you have a box. One is a white one. If you click in there, that will download a Word document for you to print, fill, sign, and add in the box with the module or modules, and I can definitely help you. But please email me first. The order box next to the address, it says click here to email us. That will open your email browser with my email, so we can start a conversation to see what the problems are, see what I need from you as far as more information, or maybe as an additional key or something like that. Like that, we are in the best way able to help you when your module or modules arrived. All right, so let's perform the test. These are very normal. I have plenty of videos where I show the connections and everything for these clusters. As I normally do, I wanted to show you that. Just a little brief description of what you will be seeing in here. So this is the front of the instrument cluster with obviously all the bezels and everything removed. I don't show this most of the time because it's already repetitive, but since you're new here in the channel, I wanted to show you that. So these are all the LEDs and the stepper motors and LCDs on the front, which is covered right now by the face of the instrument cluster. And I usually don't show that because I always work on this side of the board. That is with the microprocessor removed and the memories removed to resolder. Sometimes it goes up to this point. It all depends on how much the damage in your instrument cluster is. Normal repairs included for this cluster are soldering all these components and also the other side. And what I usually do is this: I put the conformal coating removal, remover, because Land Rover has put like an epoxy around all these components, kind of like to fix it or hold it for a longer time. And it's good. I mean, it's almost 20 years, right, with no problems. And but that actually still comes loose. And then the next is, well, this is just a closer look of that. Let me get you back to the pictures that I have right here. And the next is on this side, all those resistors you see here, a lot of them, they're about to fall out. And that's when the clusters start to get what I call the gremlins. It's like, if you have not watched that movie, they were very destructive and very intermittent or hard to understand what they were doing, right? So this is exactly what happens on this cluster, and that's what I designated like that. All right, so that's just a quick and easy picture that I want to show you. Let me show you now the diagrams. These are very basic connections in here. So this cluster uses 2 grounds and terminal is a 1 connector with 32 pins. So it uses 2 grounds on the bottom on pins 32 and 31 and 32, which is right here. And then for my test, all I really need is the powers, which is in pin 15 and 16. And then the CAN bus, which is, let me just make sure I'm saying that correctly. Let me get the DLC connector. Yeah, because I was going to say something wrong. It's actually in pins 1 and 2. So yeah, right here, high speed CAN, low and kind of high are in pins 1 and 2. So very easy connection. I also have a wire for the oil pressure switch light, which is in the cluster as well. But then with these connections, I can do bidirectional controls into the instrument cluster. This is just a very blurry picture that I got from and you can see that all the letters and everything are nice and clear on the top, but the rest it was a very bad picture they took. The connector is the C0230. and that is the instrument cluster connector. And again, this is just so you can see where the pin 1 and 2 goes over to pin 14 and pin 16 on the OVD port. That's where you connect the scanner, right? So directly connected to the OVD port. All right, going back to the test, like I normally do, I have already the scanner connected, as you see there, but let me put them on the screen so we can get a better view, or you can get a better view. Let me move the camera a little bit. And there you will be able to see the sweep test. It has not really failed. I'm also going to show when I click here on vehicle information or version information, it's going to give us the VIN number. If everything is at least proper connected, I can see the VIN number, which is SALA E25408A444250. And that is correct with what Samir gave me as far as the information. He's actually a local customer from Washington, D.C., which is next to us here in Virginia. All right, so we're going to go over to the actuation tests. And the reason I usually do this is to make sure to see first that all the stepper motors move freely and see if the cluster start to fail here, which is my goal, to reproduce the concern. But sometimes it's impossible. And there is a lot on that about, not having the entire vehicle connected. When they're really, really bad failing, they will fail here. But so otherwise, I will want to do the sweep test, and we start with the tachometer on the left side. So this one right here. And on top down, for some reason, this one gives not a correct number. It's a software glitch on their end. It has not been fixed, and this tool is up to date. So you can see what it's reading is 51%. And if I go over to 100, it doesn't go to 100, it goes over to 102, which is incorrect. It's an implausible command, which is a wrong command, because 100% is the maximum. If I go 150%, that will make the needle go 50% plus, so 2%, and it's not meant to do that. And we'll see that on the other gauges. So let's do the 51%, and we can see that it's a little over. Oh, yes, happened. I like that. Oh, it's actually happening here. Let me just see 1 second, guys. Let me make sure. Oh, we definitely have a problem. You see that? And it has nothing to do with my connections, because you see right now I'm wiggling, but it's definitely, you see, now it's off and it's on. It definitely, this has a problem right at the connector, like Samir said, but it's inconsistent. I'm wiggling right now very hard in there. So either it was a very lucky me that I catch it, or we catch it in there. But no, it's like, you see right now I'm wiggling the connector right here. So you can see the lights, me wiggling the connector and moving it in and out, and nothing is happening. So it was a perfect moment for that. So I definitely going to keep an eye on that. But this is great, because I can see that what is his concern. He said that by kicking it, or hitting the dashboard, it comes on. But let's focus into the stepper motor, because that's also my concern. Make sure that all the stepper motors are good. So I'm going to go over to the maximum I can on this one is 89.2%. So that's like around a little over 7,000 RPMs. And then if we exit, it should go as nice and smooth to 0, and it did. All right, the next one we're going to do in order, which is this one, is the temperature. And that temperature is picked up to maximum, because the way this sensor for this gauge is built is actually sending a voltage through the wire for the coolant temperature to be pulled to ground from, through the sensor. So by being disconnected, it's full 5 volts or so, and it goes up to maximum. But that is completely normal. So I'm going to go over to the 0%, or 50%, sorry, first. And we can see that very nicely at 50%. It's just a little lower compared to the half a tank. I always take that in consideration, but I will take a picture for myself to make sure I put the needles in the correct position. Right, let me go over to 0, because it was already in the maximum, right? And we can see that needle going down to there. We exit and it goes nice and smooth. Perfect. So that is a good needle, a good stepper motor. Let's do now the fuel gauge, which is the one on next to that one on the center. All right, we're going to go over to 50%. We're going to start. It is almost a 50, but just a smidge lower. And that's what I like to pick, because if I change the position, these clusters already learn to the vehicle. If I make that go specifically to 50%, it will go higher than normal or lower, never reaching the lower as he is used to it. So I want to make sure that I put the needles exactly as they are now. All right, so that is good. Let me go over to 100%. And we can see the 100%. We exit and it's going good. So, and then now at last, the speedometer, which it reads perfectly, and you can see on all these ones, I can read exactly 50%. It's only in the tachometer that gave that wrong reading. All right, that's perfectly 12 o'clock. That is exactly, and let's go over to 100%. And in this one, if I go on 100%, I cannot go past 100%. If I try to go on in the tachometer over 100%, I can go up to 140%, which is an error of the software. Whoever make that software make an error. All right, so let's just start that, and we can see the maximum speed, release, and that needle is coming back really good. Again, let me just try to wiggle the harness, and you can see how it's nothing about the harness. It was just a perfect moment of me putting the hand in there, because right now I'm really junking that connector and moving it in and out, pushing it. And it has a lock. This has a lock tab, so I cannot really pull it out. So it's locked because it has when you move the lever down to lock it, it makes kind of like it goes into a levers, into a groove, and that doesn't let the connector fall out. And we can see how it's nice and tight, and the lights are not really going out this time. So it was just a coincidence, but it's perfect because we catch it right in the video, and that's exactly what I wanted, because now I can reproduce the concerns, and I can now see that the problem is definitely inside here, not in the car. All right, guys. Yes, I think I showed you enough of information here. I'm going to perform the repairs and then come back to do the test on the sweep test and everything. But like I said, I have 100% success rate. There has not been one cluster coming back ever on these computers, on these Land Rovers that I repair. All right, guys, so let me just do the repairs and I'll be right back. All right, guys, just to give you a quick pick, like I said, this is the way this cluster looks. This is completely disassembled, and now I'm going to start doing the repair. So I'm about to put the remover for that epoxy that I was telling you. You see kind of like that yellow color around most of the major components, and that is actually a very good thing that they put that, so to make it last very long. So that tells you the quality of the repairs they did. But it is obviously age and vibrations and temperature, especially in the dashboard, that is prone to have all those changes on sunlights and inside cabin temperature. Of course, this is going to be a very abused component, right? But that's it. All right, let me keep going. Be right back. All right, guys, the repairs are done. I still need to connect back to the scanner, but as you can see, I cleaned the cluster. It looks like it's brand new because the lens was really dirty with something sticky to it. I used gloves and cleaned it really good, and it looks like brand new. Everything is now working pretty good, and it was a lot of these older components. I mean, definitely the correct repair. Let me connect to the scanner because I don't have it with me here on the table. So I definitely disconnected the scanner and turned everything off to do the repair. So let's see if we can reconnect. Sometimes I have to completely get out and reestablish communication. We'll see. TeamViewer is doing these things. Well, let's see. Okay, let's see if we can enter the instrument panel again. I'm going to have to bring the scanner here. No, let's see if we reach the information. A little delay, but no, it looks like it is connected. All right, so let's go over to the actuation test. The same thing we did on the in the beginning of the video. Probably for you, it's going to be a couple of minutes. For me, it's been a couple of hours. All right, so we're going to start with the tachometer. And thing going over to 51%. That's looking good. Nice response from the cluster. And let's do the 89.25% and then exit. And it's come back nice and smooth. Now let's do the engine temperature. Again, the center gauge on the left side. Gonna go 50%. Perfect. That looks exactly in the same spot. And then let's do 0. All right, that's looking good. And release. Nice and smooth. That's what we're looking for. Let's do the fuel gauge. It's going very quick because this is already done. Just like to confirm the needle placement and calibration. 50%. That is exactly as it was before, which is looking great. Go over to the 100%. Excellent. And the release is good. And then last, the speedometer. Perfectly in 12 o'clock. Let's do the 100%. And release. Excellent. One thing that I want you to notice is now we get the, not just the mileage, but the 0.0. Before it was like a SR something in there. So definitely the cluster was having some power communication, problems. And we saw that when I attempt to move the connector and all the stuff, no longer happening. I mean, the complete board is nice. It's nice and soldered. Connector is soldered. I replaced all the capacitors and everything. All the ding, speaker, everything is working on this cluster 800%. All right, let me just make sure I'm saying his name correct. 2008, Samer Bitar from Washington, D.C. Your instrument cluster is now fully repaired. I hope, guys, you like the content. I'm trying to, to show as much as I can, but with protecting my information because there is a lot of companies trying to copy what I do, and I'm a very small business. I don't want to disappear. I want you to trust in me, and that's, I separate my business because there is no other company in the world that does what I do, which is sending you videos of reproducing your concern, reposition the needles, showing connections, and I always go the extra mile helping my customers, which I have. I repair a cluster from a Land Rover before, I don't know, maybe a year ago or so. And when he plugged it back, it's like, oh, Mike, now my transmission is not shifting. I'm like, that has absolutely nothing to do with the cluster. But, let me take a look and see the wire diagrams. So he said, yeah, I have no communication with the transmission. I said, well, go over directly to the plug and the transmission and see if it's something. He goes there. The plug was halfway out. And he's like, oh, yeah, you know what? They replaced this. They repaired this transmission, not replaced, repaired this transmission 2 years ago. So slowly that connector was walking out. It wasn't completely locked, and that was his issue. But again, nothing to do with me. But I was able to help the customer, and he was very happy. He gave me a 5-star review, and I'm always, please request to my customers. So anyone that I have help me with your review. If I have helped you in the past, because you go to Google, Mike Salazar Diagnostics reviews. Because I'm a small business, the only way that I can actually show on search is when you give me a review, and that really helped me tremendously. The same thing is when you subscribe to the channel. YouTube, the more that you subscribe, the more you click and hit that like button, they promote more and more my videos. And I know this is sometimes a little boring because it's repairs and stuff like that, but when you need something like this, it will not be boring and it will be very helpful for you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.